parts, and a terrific service department. Altmaiers can do brakes, ramps, generators, bearing packs, and even general maintenance to be in great shape for the season. You get the best at Altmaiers Trailer Sales. At Altmaiers, they know trailers like the back of their hand. If it's a brand spanking new trailer, or if you just need an update on your current, Altmaiers Trailer Sales is for you. Altmaiers Trailer Sales in Katanning and Jefferson, Ohio.
It is the voice of Indiana County, WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. On your Tuesday morning, what is the active transportation plan and how can you have input on its development? Well, those are a couple of things we're going to cover here in this next segment. In the studio with me this morning, Barb Hauge, who's involved in the process in official capacity, and Stephanie Dunlap from Indiana Borough, Chauncey Ross representing White Township, and on the line with me from the Indiana County Department of Planning and Development, Office of Planning and Development, is Josh Krug. Josh, you there?
Yes, Todd. Thank you for having us all on. Thank you.
Beautiful. Josh, let's ask you to sort of frame this whole thing for us and tell us about the active transportation plan.
Sure. So just to give a little bit of background, Indiana County was awarded $16,500 from the Pennsylvania Walk Works program to help pay for the Indiana County Active Transportation Plan update, which is an update to our current bicycle and pedestrian plan that was adopted in 2010-11 and then ultimately adopted by the commissioners in conjunction with the 2012 comprehensive plan. And the plan will be completed over the course of this spring and summer, and there will be public and stakeholder engagement opportunities, over the next coming months. But Indiana Borough also was awarded $20,000 to do a from-scratch active transportation plan, and White Township was awarded $2,500, I believe, to complete a complete streets policy. So all of those are related to active transportation, including the complete streets policy. And really, active transportation is any self-propelled, human-powered mode of transportation, such as walking, biking, wheelchairs, strollers, even public transit is included. E-bikes would be part of it. So the idea is to focus on a vision or framework for improving walking and bicycling conditions in a community. So in Indiana Borough, they're going to be looking at certain particular things to the borough. Indiana County, we're going to be looking at it a little bit of a different lens, more of a regional approach, and looking at greater destinations. And I'm sure that the others can elaborate on their pieces.
All right, let's talk to Barb Hauge next. Barb, of course, you in an official capacity are helping with the development of the whole system, and it involves actually a quite involved process, doesn't it?
Part of the funding requires that we have a very in-depth community engagement portion so that we receive information from the community about active transportation. Where are the destinations they want to go to? Where are the deficiencies that they see? There need to be curb cuts, or there needs to be crosswalks, or there needs to be possibly slower transportation, or better routes, or improvements in some way in the transportation network. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for developing networks. So what we have is recently finished in the borough was the extension of the Hoodlebug Trail to bring it down 8th Street into the borough. And now what we want to do is, now that we have that spine, we want to create a network off of that spine to create those destinations and make it safer for people and to raise awareness of safe and active transportation. It isn't just about recreation. It's also about transportation, getting to the places where you need to go. Yeah.
That Indiana Borough aspect of it, Stephanie Dunlap, Indiana Borough, you're involved, of course, in all of this. As a borough, the planning and the execution, that last thing was really cool, the extension of the Hoodlebug into Indiana. And so now you're looking forward to what comes next.
Yeah, we're really happy to have that transportation asset come into the downtown, and we're looking to capitalize on that and expand it so that other destinations can be reached throughout the community. We have a really active bike ped committee that is really passionate and really active in promoting these types of initiatives, and so we're hoping that this plan really gives them a foundation to continue pushing these initiatives throughout the community.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to how that plays out from the Indiana Borough perspective. From the White Township perspective, Chauncey Ross.
Our development of a complete streets policy is it's kind of the enactment of the active transportation philosophy. The active transportation is the promotion of making streets available and promoting their use for walking and biking and mass transit and so forth. A complete streets policy is how to enact that, how to create the streets that are safe safe and accommodating for all forms of transportation. The act of transportation, again, is any form except for sitting behind a steering wheel and going. The policy is in the draft form right now. It's a nice 8-page document that we'd be glad to share with anybody. It's going to go before the White Township Planning Commission next for their stamp of approval. Then it'll be adopted by the township supervisors. I can tell you two main things, two main facts about the Complete Streets policy. One is that when this is adopted, it will not mean that the township will automatically go out and have people install sidewalks in every street and every neighborhood and paint bike lanes on every road that there is. That will not automatically happen. What it will mean is in the future when streets are rehabbed, rebuilt, redesigned, like what Salzburg Avenue will go through next year, that'll be the big example of this. And perhaps if there's a big flurry of economic prosperity and a new housing development springs up, a new Brookwood or a new Heritage Oaks, when housing developments and new streets are designed, they will need to be designed with active, paying attention to those needs as a forethought instead of an afterthought. To arrange for sidewalks, to arrange for bike lanes where necessary, where feasible, where smart.
And you mentioned something that is a big aspect of all of this, and that is that funding has to be available for all of these projects, and we can put together whatever plans we want. And in the end, it's going to take, and Josh Krug, you can weigh in on this, it's going to take financing, and that can come from any variety of sources, but it has to come from somewhere.
Well, it always does, Todd. And I think Chauncey made some really great points there about the complete streets, that it's not a one-size-fits-all thing, and that, you're putting in place what's appropriate where you can, when you can, and having the forethought. But like you said about the money, the funding does have to come from somewhere. They are capital improvements. Fortunately, there's, a statewide, initiative at different levels, including regionally with the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission. And there's different grant funding programs that are available. Typically, 20% match, 80% can be funded through other sources, through the grant funding, sometimes even better than that, So when you have a good project, they're competitive grants, but you can leverage, grant fundings with other grant funds sometimes, but you can also leverage, municipal dollars to make them go much further on these types of projects and implementing these types of, active transportation and multimodal solutions. But I do think it's key to note that, it's not a one-size-fits-all, that's for sure.
You're right about that. So part of this, Barb and Stephanie as well, involves getting the public involved. And so you've got a couple of ways that they can do that. You've got a survey going on. You've got also some events coming up. So one of the two of you, or both of you, if you could tell us what's coming up in that whole process.
The most immediate thing, and the one that's ephemeral, is the there's next Tuesday, April 26th, from 4 to 5, we're having an outdoor gathering, and then from 5 to 7, we're having an indoor open house session. And that will happen at Grace United Methodist Church, and we're looking for community input. And White Township, Indiana Borough, and Indiana County will all be there, and you can view the Complete Streets policy that White Township's working on, and you can view where we are in the process for Indiana County and Indiana Borough, its active transportation plans. But we're looking for input. As you said, dollars are a limiting factor, so we're looking for corridors. We're not looking to improve every street and every sidewalk and put, like Chauncey said, sidewalks and bike lanes every place. We're looking for particular places to strategically place them that are important. And the other part is the survey and the mapping. Stephanie, do you want to take that?
Yeah, we do have an online survey and a comment mapping application that are currently live. And so that'll allow individuals to go in and share their experiences with walking and biking and using public transportation and identifying areas that need improvement in those three aspects of active transportation. And then there's a mapping component where if there's an area of sidewalk that is severely deficient, they can go in and they can mark this area needs improvement, or if there's a location that they're typically walking and biking to, they can go in and identify that as a destination. And those links are available on our website and on our Facebook page, and we do have some flyers that are posted throughout the community, so we encourage everyone to participate in that short survey so we can gain input that way.
That's IndianaBorough.com.
Correct.
And Borough is always B-O-R-O. We need
Correct.
to remember that when we're doing Indiana Borough. We're unique in that way. Chauncey, from the White Township aspect of all of this, obviously you're going to be at the event happening on Tuesday at Grace United Methodist Church, but you're always open for input.
Always. In fact, the Complete Streets Policy public input component that we were required to take care of was part of our 22222 event. Mm-hmm. That was our ground zero time-wise on when we invited folks to comment on development, on the points they wanted to see stressed in a Complete Streets plan. But yes, we're open all the time for public comment, input, suggestions, questions, recommendations, requests.
Yeah.
By telephone, by email. There's an online form that is still live. It's a form that we had for people to make their suggestions about how to make the township a better place to live and work and play. That's on the township website. It's whitetownship.org. And that's still there. That's still open. And again, email and telephone are always open too.
It is the Active Transportation Plan, a community engagement event happening next Tuesday, outdoor gathering 4 to 5 p.m. Did you say Grace? Is that what you said? Grace United Methodist Church. And that is, of course, where the extension ends right there. So that's kind of cool. And then the indoor open house session there as well from 5 to 7. Josh Krug, you get the last word here this morning.
Okay, thank you again for having us on. I also just wanted to mention that it's not just about physical projects and physical improvements. We're also looking at what are barriers to walking and biking and active transportation, what improvements can be made from a policy standpoint, what type of safety improvements or public service announcements and education need to be made. Those are things that can be done at relatively lower cost as well. So I just wanted to mention that. And I just wanted to thank all the partners involved. This has been great. We were able to collaborate, and I think that our coordination and collaboration is how we were able to get 3 out of the 10 awards statewide for this grant program here in Indiana County.
Pretty amazing stuff. Josh Krug, thanks so much. Stephanie Dunlap, Barb Hauge, Chauncey Ross, thanks all for coming in.
Thanks, Todd.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160. 9:24, Boomer in the CBS Sports coming up very shortly, and then Josh in the WCCS newsroom.
The Western Pennsylvania Conservancy is dedicated to celebrating